everyone, and welcome to the True North Show, a show where we dive into the pivotal moments that ignite our guests' passion, uncover the stories behind their purpose, and reveal the real-life strategies they use to stay balanced and prioritize mental health. Get ready for inspiring conversations that light the way to living with intention and resilience while following your true north. I'm your host, Megan North, and I would like to thank our sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, Anne C. Clark, and our lovely guest who paid to be featured on this episode. Now, talking about our lovely guest, today we are joined by Anne McDowell, who is a positivity and transformational change coach, inspirational speaker, and two-time international award-winning author in the self-help space. With a master's in human resource management, specialising in leadership and change, and more than 30 years of experience in leadership, coaching, training, and career strategy, Anne helps people rise through change and bounce back with clarity, resilience, and renewed purpose. Anne is a Phoenix magician oracle with mystic tones, bringing an extraordinary depth to her work. She guides others through life's pivotal moments with the wisdom of one who has actually walked through the fire that accompanied the darkest nights of the soul. And she's emerged stronger. She is the Phoenix rising. Drawing on intuitive insight, grounded strategy, and soulful presence, she empowers her clients to transform adversity into alignment and uncertainty into bold and optimistic new beginnings. Anne is a 5-1 in human design, a natural guide and teacher, whose life's work is helping people view change as silver lining invitation to step into who they truly are. An eternal optimist and intuitive empath, Anne has a rare gift for seeing the potential in others long before they see it in themselves and reflecting it back with clarity, compassion, and the unwavering belief. Anne believes we hold the power to transform our story, and with the right support, even life's biggest challenges can become our greatest turning point. Welcome to the show, Anne. I'm so grateful that you are here today.
Thank you, Megan. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so full of excitement and gratitude. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, it is. And how is it when I'm talking about you and all of the amazing things that you've achieved? How does that feel?
I can't believe it, honestly. It's beautiful, actually, and it's very rare that I actually hear myself about myself.
Yeah.
And so because my life is about building up others, so it's when I hear it about myself, it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't believe it, really.
Yeah. I think it's actually something that with, people like us who are high achievers and also who are really stepping into that space of holding space for others and watching other people's achievements and watching them grow, we often forget about reflecting on our own path. I think we sometimes are just so focused on who am I making an impact on? What about us? Like, what impact am I actually making on myself? And so I think that this is a really nice reflective way to hear about where you've started and now where you are.
Great. It's such a beautiful opportunity to be able to speak about, life's journeys and your life's journey, my life's journey. And I was speaking with a gentleman just a couple of days ago, and he said at 70, he's got many life stories. And I said, yes, we all have. And I think that each of us brings something significant to each other in our experiences, in our in what we've gone through, in our adversities, to help rise to hopefully prevent other people from falling into the traps that we may have fallen into in our early life.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even if it's then a different perspective for someone, because a lot of people say, oh, I thought that I was the only one.
Absolutely. And I'd like to say to people is, and I touch them, I want you to know that you're not alone. There have been lots of us who face these kinds of challenges in our life, in business, in personal life, in our family life, and just that we are a community. And I think over time we've forgotten that we're a part of a bigger community, and that there are lots of people who've potentially gone through our particular situation, and to just open up and talk about our experiences. I think that that's a really valuable lesson, and one that I'm rediscovering a lot in my own personal journey, and it's realigning, the importance of community and making sure that we're here for each other. It's a reciprocal law of reciprocity. It's a two-way street.
Yeah. And I also find too, it's really interesting that when people are going through things, they don't necessarily want you to fix them. So I had someone that is in my network. You and I are in the same networking group. She had just lost her brother. And I said to her, I'm really sorry. How can I support you at this time? And she said, just you asking is enough.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we worry and overthink. If I ask them, how can I support them? What do I do with that information if they do say, yes, I do need some help? But realistically, people are actually just wanting to know that you're thinking of them, that you are there if they need something.
You're absolutely right. And I know that with several things that I've had going on in my life, my husband has said that to me, what can I do? I said, you just being here.
Yeah.
Just all you need to do is just be here. I'm okay, but I had a fall and a dislocating knee, and he said, "What can I do? What can I do?" I said, "Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Just be here for me." And that's all that I needed in that time frame.
Yeah.
And it's grief and loss and bereavement is a really hard thing to know what to say, and you don't want to say the wrong thing to upset someone.
Yeah.
And for me, I often, I think, and I just put my hand on the person's arm and I said, I'm here. You can cry, you can do whatever you like in this moment. You can laugh, you can tell me a story. I'm here just to listen to you.
Yep.
And I'm here just to be whatever you need me to be in this moment. And I think that if we remember to do that for each other, it's just such a powerful thing. And I really love being able to be that for someone else. And it doesn't really mean that I can solve their problems, because I know that I can't. I can't take that pain away. But in that moment, offering my love and my unconditional support potentially is all that they're asking for in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think technology has changed that too, in a sense of when people do stumble and think, I don't know what to say. In any situation, often if I'm thinking about someone for whatever reason that they're going through, I have this thing where I just send like 3 hearts. I don't say anything. I just send them 3 hearts, because it's just, that's it. That's the symbol. I'm just sending you love. Doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be something.
Because they also know you too. They know that it's from the heart.
Yeah.
And obviously a heart symbol, yes. But if somebody is also grieving, I send a broken heart, say I'm brokenhearted for you in this moment. And, there are no words. And often people don't want words. They just want love and they want understanding and they want space.
Yeah.
That the modern concept of holding space for someone is such a beautiful, beautiful thing, where you can't offer solace, but they know that you're there, and I think that that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So, with all of the amazing things that you do and all the work that you do, what was the defining moment that led you to pursue your true passion and purpose?
Well, it's funny. It came about in a strange way. So I had always been a teacher, I guess. But when I going through school, I didn't get the marks to get into university to do teaching that I had wanted to do. And even though my mother was a school teacher, and I infants primary school teacher. And so she handled little kids from kindergarten to year 2, so till about 7 or 8 years old. And that was my ideal my ideal niche as well, or English history at high school. So they were quite a very
wow.
kind of gap there. But it was more about I was an exchange student after I finished when I graduated, and I went to the United States for a year, and I spent a year in Pennsylvania, which I loved. It was true to my heart. And when I came back, it was very limited back in the day. So when I came back to Australia, it was 1988. So it was quite a long time ago. And there weren't that many career options open. And one of the things that I had learned when I was in the States was to type. So it seemed a logical progression to move into the admin arena.
Mm-hmm.
And so I explored, I went into an admin career, and I reached a management level and couldn't go much further in that particular stream. In 1997, I was working for a multinational company, Australian company, but had international headquarters all over the world. And it was closing because steel in Newcastle was closing. And so I was given an opportunity to retrain. And in that moment, this is the crystallization of my path, was that in that retraining opportunity gave me an opportunity to become a workplace trainer and assessor, so a corporate workplace trainer and assessor of adults. And in that moment too, in this redundancy, retrenchment, losing your job, what do we do now kind of phase, I was 27. I knew my whole life and career was ahead of me, and I didn't have too much problem getting a job. But the people in my redundancy wave, because there was a group of us, were men. They were in their mid to late 50s, so just shy of retirement, and they really didn't have a lot to move forward with. And their career options were severely limited. One particular gentleman had been with the same company as a chemist for 28 years, and his wife was sadly dying of cancer, breast cancer. And this time was really pivotal in his life, and there was no emotional support. So there was monetary support and a retraining opportunity, which was incredibly generous. But back in 1997, feelings, emotions,
those things, feelings,
it's like, oh, it's like that's not what we discuss. We don't discuss things like feelings. And so here was I as an observer and a keen understander of human psyche, because I've been a person that everyone used to come to with their problems. And as a problem solver, I'm thinking, how could I solve this problem for this person in this moment? And it was just planted a seed. I didn't do anything with it at the time, but it planted a seed. So I went overseas for a little while, had a wonderful time on my redundancy payout, and came home and landed straight into an office management role within a training company, where I was able then to utilise my training experience and desire to train adults. And it's coming up to this next section of when it all became crystallised. So when I was working with that company, my job was a bit of a fixer, fix the systems, fix this, fix that, and I really wanted to step into being what I felt was my passion of public speaking and educating people. So then the benchmark to do that was to have a tertiary education, so university education, which I didn't have. So my boss then made as a mature age student, I was able to enter university and postgraduate studies via my vast experience in the workplace. So it was a different process.
Right.
I enrolled in a master's program. It was the MBA, but I decided that I wasn't really good at the statistical and analytical side of things, and I transited to HR. HR was leadership, teamwork, organizational behavior, organizational psychology, looking at how we orchestrate and organize organizations. And it was also about change.
Right. Yep.
And change, when I was learning about leadership and change, it's like, this is what I'm meant to do. This speaks to my heart.
Wow.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
Mm.
And it was, I had unknowingly helped people all of my life move through difficulties, adversities, challenges, help them with their goals and their inspirations. And I'd been that person, and now I could do it formally. And so I became a trainer in 1998. Well, I was already a trainer in 97, but I was able to start training people in 1998, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
So training, coaching, mentoring, leading, guiding, it's all the same.
And where do you think that comes from? Like, you know, you and I have had a long conversation previously, and we've got similar sort of where we've come through in our career. But where do you think that comes from? Do you think it's because you watched your mum and she was a teacher, or do you think it's just innately in you that you're a confident and a coach and a mentor? Like, where do you feel that comes from?
Well, I think it's a combination of both environment and innately what's in me. So only last year, excuse me, last year did I discover human design.
Okay.
And I did, and through our mutual networking, a lady who was doing human design here in Australia, one of the first ones, but according to business. And I did the human design questionnaire, or typed in my birth date and the logistics, and it was like this incredible burst of, oh my goodness, this is me. This is who I really am. Somebody else has said this is who I really am.
Right.
And because I've felt it all of my life, but I've been steered in so many different directions and, you know, away potentially from what I was meant to be. And our conditioning in society and our conditioning in, you know, circumstance. And so in terms of that, I've always been this entity, this teacher. But this 5-1 in human design that I discovered was about my purpose. And I'd already known my purpose, but this was validated by the fact that in this, my authenticity and my reason for being is to help people transit through change. I'm a messenger to help people transit through change and understand what's happening to them, understand their behaviors and their feelings and their anxieties and their whole thing about change, and get them from point A to point B.
Wow.
Just like I have myself. So, and it's bouncing back with resilience and change and leading yourself with self-leadership to allow yourself to sit in the ickiness and go, this ickiness isn't something to be afraid of. What can I learn from this? And then move myself forward to the next part of my transformation.
Wow.
So I've done that for myself in, you know, like we all have, you know, but for me, I recognised probably in 2015 the importance of what I do when somebody referred to me as, it's all right, Pollyanna, you always see the silver lining. You know, you just bounce back anyway. You know, you've got this, Pollyanna. And I'm like, I read that story when I was young. I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, to me, you're Pollyanna. You're just like this eternal optimist. And she said, you always look at the bright side. You always find the silver lining. You always have been like that. And I'm like, oh, have I?
Wow.
So it was a crystallized moment for me that I didn't fully appreciate or understand about myself.
Yeah, yeah. And do you think also is that because you kind of innately and sense change is okay and that you can be resilient and it creates all of these things, do you think then that that actually then gives you that optimism because you don't see change as fear, you see it as an opportunity to grow or to expand or to improve?
Well, it's a there's a couple of things behind that. Yes, I do have this always got to be a silver lining thing, and yes, I know innately things will get better. They just have to. They can't. They just can't be optimistically like worse all the time. But it was something that I really connected to when I was at uni, and it was about the locus of control. And this was a concept that was developed in 1954, and it was about whether you see like cup half full, cup half empty, but it was also about what you're prepared to do to keep yourself in or out of that space. So one of the things that that also it's also called in because everything has an historical significance that modern language then wraps its head around, and it's also called above the line thinking and below the line thinking.
Right. Okay. Yep.
But I liken it. And what I've taught over the last 20 odd years is about Tigger and Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh, because those Disney characters, one has an external locus of control and one has an internal locus of control. One is a pessimist, one is an optimist. One is about, and I think you probably already know who's who, but I'm going to explain it. So with an internal locus of control, that means that you as a person feel like you have influence over what happens in your life.
Right.
You have influence over your choices. You believe there is a choice. You believe you have a choice, and you believe that you can enact your choices. Whereas the external locus of control is that you feel you surrender yourself to everything around outside you. So you don't feel like you have any power, that you don't have any personal power or anything like that to help you change your situation.
Right.
So if you think about the Disney characters, and I think that they're probably the what I think is the best way to describe it, you have Tigger. Tigger is an eternal optimist. He has an internal locus of control. He believes he has choices. He has a choice when the Jaguar comes to town, that he sees it as an adventure, not as a fear. And he then thinks, well, even if it is a bit, I don't know, he goes, well, let's just get excited and bounce our way through. And he bounces back from things or from adversity. Whereas if you look at Eeyore is the other side of the pendulum swing. So he has an external locus of control.
Yeah.
He believes that, oh dear, the sky is falling down. Even his voice is pessimistic. And he wears a little rain cloud. He takes a little rain cloud with him.
Everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So he feels that in that he doesn't have much power in his situation. So he surrenders to what is. Whereas with Tigger and being an optimist, Pollyanna, we're optimists. We go, well, this situation isn't great. No. And it doesn't mean that we shy away from the realities.
Yeah.
Positivity isn't hype. It's about being able to keep yourself in a mindset that will allow you to solve problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get depressed, when you're in a negative state of mind, you can't solve problems well. So when we flip it, when we purposefully enter into a positive mindset, into Tigger, we make a choice. We make a choice to make a difference. We make it to the day, to the hour, to the minute of whatever trauma or dramatic situation we've just experienced.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I am, because I'm choosing.
Yeah.
I'm choosing in the moment. And I cry, and and I've been Eeyore. I've been Eeyore on a number of occasions, but I go, okay, I need to draw a line in the sand here. I need to. I can't be Eeyore and solve my problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to be Tigger and solve my problem. So how do I get back into being Tigger?
Yeah.
So I set a line. I set a time frame. I feel all the feelings, everything. I cry. I yell. I scream. Or whatever. But then I go, okay, at 12 o'clock, I have to jump over that line in the sand, and I have to become Tigger.
Yeah.
It's my choice to become Tigger.
Yeah. So you go into Eeyore at times, but you just don't unpack your bags and stay there.
You can't stay in Eeyore for because of course we're not talking about clinical depression here. We're talking about the times where you've been blindsided by I had 3 months where I was in Eeyore and with a toxic relationship breakup where that person was an emotional abuser, and I was shattered. I was not myself after it. 3 months into crying every day, my girlfriend said to me, "You were at such the top of your game before you met him." And I sat in that.
Right.
I sat in that and I was like, oh my goodness. Seriously, Anne? Say goodbye to Eeyore. You get back into Tigger. You get back to being who you are. You do not let him win.
Yeah.
You do not let him affect the rest of your life. He's not worth it. B, he's got his own problems. They're not yours.
Yeah.
Take the monkeys off your back. They're not yours. Not my circus. Not my monkeys.
Yeah.
They're not your problems.
Yeah.
Your problem is to fix yourself, and I did. So it was, I took a couple of weeks, but I didn't go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the most powerful thing for me. But it was also about forgiving myself for being in Eeyore.
Yeah.
And allowing, I needed to be, but I needed to have it pointed out to me too. Hello, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Get back to being who you authentically are.
Yeah, yeah. And that forgiveness of self, I think, is really powerful, particularly if we do feel like we've dipped. Just forgiving yourself for feeling, in the sense of not saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I felt, but just feeling, forgiving yourself that this was a moment in time and now I need to move forward. Yeah.
I think it's important. Like we're human. We just try to be the best that we can be in any point, any given day.
Absolutely.
And none of us are perfect.
No.
And it's also about the choices. About do we want to choose to be in this? And one of the programs I have is bounce back from the changes that you didn't ask for.
Yeah.
Because it's so important that, we didn't ask for these things to happen, but they've taught us valuable lessons too, if we've been open and honest about receiving the lesson.
Yeah.
And I learned so many valuable things. And honestly, it's also incredible for a coach. You have to experience these things yourself so that you can understand what somebody else is going through.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
And I really believe, and one of my mantras for myself in my business is, if I haven't studied it, worked it, or lived it, I don't coach it, train it, or sell it.
Yeah.
And I find that it's so important to be authentic to who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now I'm going to just take that pause just as
Yes.
a moment for us just to hear from our sponsors.
Great.
So we'll hear from our sponsors and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. And I think that's a beautiful segue into what we've spoken about, because I'd love to now talk to you just in relation to mental health and how you look after your own mental health as you're going through things and following your passion and your purpose. So we'll hear from our sponsors and then we'll come back.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the True North Show. Thank you, Anne. I was just having a bit of a chuckle to myself when I took us to the ads, because the first question we took 30 minutes. I told you that this time would fly.
Fine.
Love it, love it, love it. I think it's just beautiful, beautiful conversation. So can you share with us how you maintain balance and prioritize your mental health and well-being in the midst of pursuing your dreams?
So I do a lot of different things, Megan. I play the piano, and I think that that's one of my very big gifts to soul, because I can play no matter what mood I'm in, and my music is reflective of the mood sometimes, but I find it so grounding. I swim, and I'm so fortunate. I'm very lucky to have a pool at home in my backyard, and I also have an outdoor shower that just has cold water. So at the moment, it's autumn here, and it's quite cool. And so I'm doing morning swims when I can, and a cold shower, which is also grounding.
Yep.
And I've been doing a lot of work recently about shadow work and connecting to inner child, doing timeline therapy, doing a whole range of different things, because I had just felt that I was a bit out of balance, and I just realised over the last 3 years probably, I had been out of balance in my business a lot, and it was also affecting my mental health, because I was driving forward in masculine energy, and I didn't really allow myself the divine feminine to come through. And so I've been really rediscovering that. It's been so exciting, and I was so captivated by your sponsors and their messages, because that's what I've been doing. I've been really aligning to my spiritual side, and understanding that I've been a little bit I don't know if you can call it a little bit, but I've always had a little bit of, I don't know, would it be clairvoyance or something. I've been spiritual and always connected to that, but lost my way a little. And I'm just rediscovering all of that. It is so beautiful. And also, in terms of being able to connect and balance myself, I listen to subliminal messaging at nighttime because I'm at the outer stages of menopause. So sleep is not always easy.
Yeah.
I'm doing subliminal messaging with my earbuds at nighttime, with positive affirmations and connecting to divine and just really. I'm watching tarot and really listening to other spiritual leaders on Mind Valley, for example, and I'm loving it. I'm absorbing everything I can, and it's so calming. So I'm finding that, with my music, with what I do, walking, exercise, swimming, cold water therapy, I'm loving it, and that's what I'm feeling is so buoyant to my moods and really helping me to connect. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love how you've talked about, how there's different things that you do. And obviously, well, maybe the cold showers, I don't know where cold water therapy, is that going to still continue in the midst of winter? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm assuming with all the different things that you have, you probably start to intuitively feel into what you need more of, what's not working for you at the moment. Is that right? Like, do you find that what helps you with your mental well-being flows?
Yes, it is. And giving myself permission and reconnecting to my feminine energy and my divine feminine in that sort of thing has made a tremendous difference to me and my mental health over the last, I would say 4 or 5 months that I've been really pursuing it, because I didn't really give myself permission a lot to rest. And I didn't connect to, I'm even wearing like nail polish. I don't know if you can see it. So, doing a lot. I was driving too hard. I was, it's all about, achievement and goals and that sort of thing. And I didn't allow myself to rest. I think that was a real pivotal lesson for me in disengaging, getting rid of all the noise, disengaging, and I've never compared myself to others, but stop having other people externally influence my decision making. What I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And there's so much noise on social media. As a business owner, and of course as a coach, you seem to attract a lot of it. I'll help you do this, and you need to be doing this, and you should be, blah blah blah, and you should be cut out all the noise. It's so peaceful.
Yeah, good. That I'm so glad to hear that, because I think that the society that we live in now is you're made to feel guilty if you're not doing something, or if you stop for half a day, or if you sit on the lounge and watch TV or something like that. And I know myself that sometimes, if I have a really big week on a Sunday, I love to be on the lounge and just watching stupid TV. But get to the point where I'll turn to my husband and I know I've made a shift, because I'll say to him, I'm bored, which is then I sit in that space. Because for me, if I'm bored, then my brain is empty. My brain is having a rest. It's getting a different rest from sleeping. It's in that boredom mode of, there's just nothing. And then I know, great, okay, I've actually rejuvenated now, because I've felt that. And then I actually feel not long after that all the inspiration coming in for, oh, I could do that, or, oh, what about that? Or next week when I'm in that meeting, I could do this. But it's allowing myself to do that. Like, I love sitting on the lounge with a cup of tea and watching a bake-off or something like that.
Absolutely. Oh, it's just divine, and I often say to my husband, yes, let's just have a show in the background or whatever we're doing that we don't have to concentrate on. And it's beautiful, and we do need that. And it's also giving ourselves permission that that's okay, because in our world it seems to be, and this is why I blocked out a lot of the noise, is that it was a very hustle culture for a number of years. Oh, you need to be doing this, and anyway, I've blocked all of that out. But I've also taken to re-engaging with my husband, we turn the TV off and we just connect and play cards together.
Yeah.
And I've never been a big card player. And he on our anniversary went away for a couple of nights in February. And I'd had a few yucky associations with playing cards in my past in teams, but this was just he and I. And we've played every night since. So we turn the TV off. We just talk about our days or whatever, because we're also in the midst of doing some renovations around the home, and so we're very full on busy.
Yeah.
But we've have to give ourselves permission just to not do anything too, and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
The guilt that comes around on those kinds of things too has something that I've really needed to settle for myself.
Yeah.
And go, you know what? You don't need to be doing everything 24/7 all the time, because that's masculine energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Connect to divine, connect to divine and feminine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's been an incredible balance for me, and that has done wonders, absolute wonders for my mental health.
Because the thing is that if you're not in the best space yourself, then how can you be in that space for your clients as well, right? I mean, you need to be you need to be walking the talk as well, but also then showing your clients too that you're human and that sometimes you don't want to be doing something. So you go, okay, until 12 o'clock, I'm going to feel like this. And at 12:01, I'm going to shift back into this. But, you know, I think that also as a leader, I think it's really important to be sharing not every minute detail, but you can then relate to how clients are feeling too.
Yes. Yes, I can. And it was funny that a friend of mine who is a follower but she was a school friend, she actually called me and was texted me, and she said, I've noticed there's a theme in your social media posts of late. Is everything okay? And I was like, yes, everything is fine. I am just really tapping into other people's energy and what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and what I have felt myself.
Yeah.
Because everything comes from that place of authenticity, where if I'm not, and sometimes the posts that I post are for me as well, to remind me to, okay, you're got to make some choices here.
Yeah.
So it is very much a reminder that we all need our cup filled, and as people, as women, as individuals, as business owners, as whatever label we want to give ourselves, we have to fill our cup up first before we're able to fill other people's cup. Yeah. It's the same, that analogy that they have on the planes when, when the oxygen masks come on.
Yeah.
You have to fill yourself up first. And as a coach, I do that. I fill my cup with music, with my swimming, and the ideas do come to me when there's cold water hitting my head.
Yeah. And I also think it's important too for however you want to fill your cup up as well. Like what works for you doesn't necessarily work for me or the next person. It's about then finding what works for you as well. I think that's really important.
Everything is okay. Whatever it is that fills your cup is okay. It's fabulous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can you share a significant challenge that you faced and how you overcame it to stay aligned with your purpose?
So I think the most poignant one for me happened in sort of June, July last year. I've been on my own personal transformation as well as my business transformation, as well as it's an evolving thing. You have to keep doing it. My business looks very different to what it did 22 years ago when I first started. But I was 25 kilos heavier than what I am now. So what's that, 50, 60 pounds?
Wow.
Heavier than what I am currently.
Yeah.
And I have a series of health issues that have been lifelong health issues, and that have been hard to overcome, and weight was one of them. And because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it started to manifest when I was 8. So I've had menopausal symptoms since I was about 12, 13.
Wow.
So I've been grappling with that, but excess weight. But it was a point in time. A saying that I've created is, it's only when the pain is sufficient that you will make that intended change or that needed change.
Yeah.
And the pain was sufficient. So the
Right.
pain was sufficient on a number of levels in my business, in my personal life, in my health. I had to do something. And it was then the Tigger moment. You know, I was Tigger in everything else, but Eeyore in my weight, where my weight issues were concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I had to step into Tigger and do things about it. So for the last, it's been probably since July, 1st of July, I started on a new journey, transformational journey. So I've transformed from the inside out, but also transformed my business and realigned to myself, realigned to my authenticity, realigned to my alignment. And I found, the human design. So it was about aligning to, oh my goodness, I've been doing this all along, and, hello.
Yeah.
So it was these big light bulb moments all over. And so the biggest thing I was doing, my the timeline therapy, I was doing shadow work, I was doing realignment with my soul, realignment with my purpose, realignment with everything. So the biggest lesson, I think, for me has been, don't be afraid to realign.
Yeah.
When you get out of sync, it's okay, it happens.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to go, that's no longer serves me.
Yeah.
That's no longer who I am. And I don't think it ever was who I was.
Yeah.
And step back into who you really are. Sometimes that's not always easy to discover, but, there are people like me and like other people. There are so many people out there who can help you and help people. And if you're the person who's struggling, there's your community, there's your support network. Talk to them.
Yeah.
Ask them what you're good. What do they think you're good at?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to remember that what I did was confuse my talents for my purpose. So I'm talented at a number of different things, but they're not necessarily my true purpose.
Right. Oh, okay.
So it was like, is that a talent or is that my purpose?
Right.
It helps me achieve my purpose.
That's what I was going to say. Your talents would then help you achieve the purpose. Oh, that's an interesting way to look at things.
And it was like, okay, how long do I do this talent in order for it to support my purpose? Is it a short-term, medium, long-term thing? Is it something I always have to incorporate? Is it something that I can potentially engage somebody else to do for me in the future? Right now, is it sensible for me to do that? Yes, no. Or circumstances might say yes, it has to be.
Yeah.
Until,
Right.
So it was then the clarity that came for me about aligning where my alignment was, what my true purpose is. And there was also something, a mutual friend of ours, Mitch, gave me a wonderful insight about the queen bee. And there was a little 3-minute video about what your queen bee purpose is in your business. And it wasn't about being the queen bee. It was about the purpose. And my purpose is creating content about change and resilience and positivity and confidence so that I can then deliver those messages.
Use your talents to then deliver the messages.
Use the talents to deliver the messages. So part of what I do is what's called instructional design. So it's about developing learning content and learning programs. And so therefore it's pulling the information that's through my learning, my wisdom, my experiences, putting them into learning programs, coaching programs, so that people then can learn from those experiences.
Yeah. Wow.
So and because the video said, if you're not there doing the creation of the content, your queen bee purpose isn't there. You're a worker bee.
Yeah.
You're a worker bee, not the queen bee.
Yeah.
So that you have to then remember who you are in your business. And like if your business is about, numbers or accountancy, then obviously that's your queen bee moment.
Yeah.
Whereas sales or marketing or that sort of thing may not be your queen bee.
Yeah. It's just a part of your business. It's a part of how you operate.
Part of
Yeah.
the business.
Yeah.
But if you have to core down on your queen bee. And I thought it was so amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And that's what the spirit of community does for you as well.
Yeah.
Because I had never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And a person in our community told me about that. So,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
That's amazing. Amazing. I love that. And I just, oh, yes, really, really amazing. I think we could do a whole segment just on that. What a beautiful way to answer that question.
Oh, thank you.
Now, can you believe that we actually only have a couple of minutes left?
Oh my goodness. This has been such a joy. It's been absolutely joyous.
It really has. It really has. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests before we finish our conversation. So what is one lesson or truth that you've learned on your journey that you wish you had learned earlier?
Listen to your heart. And it's calling for you.
Wow.
No, it's about listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Connect to yourself. Connect to your inner feelings. Connect to you. And I think listen to yourself. Listen to what makes you feel comfortable and not comfortable.
Yeah.
And be authentic, because in that feeling is your authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
In that feeling is your true purpose. In that feeling is the messengers that, have been sent to you to guide you on your path.
Yeah.
Listen to yourself.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Trust yourself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Beautiful way to end this conversation.
Oh,
Thank you for bringing such beautiful energy to our conversation and just different perspectives. Like I love listening to people because I learn and then I hear different perspectives, different ways of thinking about things and looking at things. So thank you for that.
It's my absolute pleasure. I have had such a beautiful time. Thank you, Megan.
I'm so glad. And I'd also like to thank all of our amazing and dedicated audience and our sponsors and our supporters. And I hope that you all have an amazing and beautiful week ahead. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you again, Anne.
Thank you. It's been wonderful.